Straight to the top story at this hour, and that of course is in relation to Fortis Health late last evening, where ET Now of course was constantly getting you the top stories, ending months of speculation over the takeover saga, and of course a marathon meeting yesterday. Fortis finally chose the Munjal-Burman combo offer as the preferred buyer for the country's second largest hospital chain, Fortis Healthcare. We have Ashwin Mohan, who has been tracking the story right from the beginning, joining us right now to give us the details. Ashwin, Munjal-Burman's it is.
After months of intense negotiations and an intense and unrivaled bidding war in terms of intensity, the board of embattled firm Fortis Healthcare has finally made a decision. A majority of the board has recommended the bid of the Munjals and the Burmans as far as reviving Fortis Healthcare is concerned, and this bid of the Munjals and the Burmans, of course, was split into two components. You had 800 crores upfront equity infusion, through preferential allotment, and then you had an additional 1,000 crores infusion through pref allotment of warrants. Now, clearly, one of the major reasons why the board, along with the expert advisory panel, seems to have gone in favor of the Munjals and the Burmans is that this is the highest upfront infusion without due diligence. So therefore, it gives you immediate oxygen, and of course, it also ensures that time is not lost in due diligence. That seems to have been the differentiating factor, but one needs to keep in mind that this is a recommendation by a majority of the Fortis Healthcare board, and this is subject to shareholder approval. There is an EGM that is coming up on May 22nd. That's the EGM wherein the shareholders will in fact look at inducting their nominees on the boards of Fortis Healthcare because they want their interests to be well represented. Another factor that one needs to keep in mind is that you have Malaysian healthcare operator IHH, which had a higher valuation of 175 rupees per share. Will IHH be disgruntled? Will it be tempted to make a hostile offer? Those are questions that one needs to keep in mind. But at the end of the day, it clearly looks like the Munjals and the Burmans, over and above, of course, their upfront attractive infusion. At the end of the day, they are an illustrious business house. It's a great combination, one of the most prosperous and popular business houses of New Delhi. They have a lot of pedigree in diversified businesses. They may not have a substantial interest in running a pan-India hospital chain, but this is something that they are looking at in terms of reviving the company. And remember that they also hold a minority shareholding in Fortis Healthcare. So they are coming on board to provide immediate infusion to Fortis Healthcare and put it back on the revival roadmap. Back to you.
Thanks, Ashwin, for that. And the decision came late last night, and ET Now was on top of that, was the first to report that to its viewers. Listen in to the analysts who joined us to discuss Fortis's board decision.
There will be, first of all, a sign of relief that the thing has come to an end and brought to its logical conclusion. Secondly, I think the confidence does rest in terms of the corporate history and wealth created by both these names for shareholders in their respective business. More importantly, I think now everything put to rest. Let me put it this way. The marriage and honeymoon is over. I think now things have to get back to work and most importantly see how they bring back the confidence of shareholders, big and small. Yes, there will be a lot of work that will be required. There will be a lot of cleaning that will be required. But having said that, I think both the Munjals and the Burmans would definitely do justice to the company and bring it back to the right track.
We're also joined by another market expert, Avinash Gorakhshekar. Avinash, firstly, thank you so much for taking out time and joining us live during this breaking news programming. We're probably the only Indian channel right now, covering this huge M&A deal in the Indian healthcare sector. So at the end of the day, what we understand is that a majority of the Fortis Healthcare board has recommended the Munjals and the Burmans consortium's bid, and clearly that bid envisaged 1,800 crores equity infusion immediately without any due diligence through pref issue of warrants and also pref equity issue. And now it's all up to the shareholders. Considering the kind of twists and turns that we have seen in this deal, and since it's been so intensely competitive, Do you expect any opposition from some of the shareholders? Because at the end of the day, there are other bidders who offered far greater value for Fortis Healthcare.
Yeah, I think if you look at the pricing, my sense is, the pricing by one of the bidders was roughly in the range of around 165 to 170 rupees. So there could be some resistance to this offer, but as Gaurang pointed out, I think the management depth and the track record of the Burmans and the Munjals in creating value for shareholders is a very crucial element, in this takeover. So obviously, looking at both the pros and the cons, I think, longer term, I think, definitely if this offer is approved and finally gets the go-ahead from all the shareholders, I think it would definitely help, the company to get the much needed cash because Fortis requires a lot of cash immediately. And I think once the new management is in place, the market should obviously look at what kind of growth trajectory and what kind of business strategy is put in place so that, it's back to business as normal. Because for a long time, this business was affected because of the management tussle and earlier, related management issues. So I think all said and done, it doesn't seem to be a bad offer, but probably you could see a little bit of opposition unless we finally get the, shareholders' green signal.
Avinash, what do you expect from the stock tomorrow?
Yeah, I think stock may not react that, aggressively because considering the price, the Munjal and the Burman offer price was about 157 to 160 odd rupees. The market price is trading around 150. I think in the short term, obviously it's a sign of relief. But to expect the pop-up on the share price immediately tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised that, markets would obviously like to hear some more clarity from the top management once things are finally, announced that the Burmans and Munjals would come on board. I think the market would obviously be excited to know how eventually the roadmap is, created as to how the next 2 to 3 years is, going to be created. So in the shorter term, I don't think the stock may actually go anywhere. But in the longer term, yes, definitely the stock is definitely going to be re-rated, in a gradual manner.